Hey, how's it going, breadwinners? HummusThunder here, and today I'm bringing you guys a brand new video on Modern Warfare Search and Destroy. But this time, instead of giving you guys just gameplay, I want to actually go over the top 5 most overpowered class setups to use. A lot of people have been asking for this on top of my settings, so I'll give you that at the end of the video as well. I do want to clarify in the beginning, I'm going to give you 3 class setups for the AMAX, Uzi, and the Val. These 3 are the best guns in the game. This is the class setups that I use, but if you want my 5 overpowered guns besides those big 3, if you want a little bit more variety in your life, I'm gonna give you some setups for different weapons you guys will definitely enjoy using. They're gonna give you the advantage in other gunfights because they're kitted out correctly. If you guys end up enjoying this video, if you think someone else will benefit from it, consider dropping a like and sharing it with that person. I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Let's get straight into the video. So like I said in the intro, I'm quickly going to give you the class setups for these 3 weapons, and then I'm going to move on to the 5 best class setups to run. Besides these 3, we have the AMAX, Val, Uzi. For the AMAX, I like to run the Zodiac barrel, no stock, commando foregrip, mono suppressor, and stipple grip tape or tack laser. Either one of those work and it'll definitely do the job. It's the AMAX, first of all. It's a very consistent weapon. Moving on to the Val, I like to use commando foregrip, 30 round magazine, 5mm wide laser, frangible disabling, and stippled grip tape. Now I know the frangible disabling is toxic, but I'm only using this gun to be toxic. You really can kit this any way you want. And then the Uzi is a gun a lot of people like to use. It caught a lot of flack year 2. This year it's kind of died down a little bit, but it's still a pretty overpowered weapon. I like to run the FSS Carbine Pro barrel, 41 AE rounds, tack laser, an optic of your choice, and the Ranger foregrip. So we're gonna start with the 5th best all the way to the 1st best. We're also gonna have an honorable mention here as well, but for the 5th best class to run in this game, I'm gonna have to go with the MP7. The MP7 is a very versatile submachine gun in the game. The damage on this weapon is a little bit on the weaker side, but paired with the high rate of fire, the lower recoil, and the high magazine count, the MP7 becomes a very good submachine gun to run, and it's very forgiving if your aim is off for the day. The attachments I like to use on the MP7 is the FSS Recon barrel, the tack laser, no stock, commando foregrip, and the 60 round mag. Now you can put the 50 round mag if you want a little bit more mobility, but that's the class setup that I use on the MP7. You guys will definitely be able to fry, especially in close to medium range maps. Moving on to the next gun on this list, the number 4 spot is the MP5. Now for me, this is the 1st or 2nd best gun in the game. Personally, I love this and the 1st spot gun. These are like my go-tos when I need to get a gameplay. The MP5 is very versatile. It's not as good as everyone makes it out to be. People seem to think it's like the best gun in the game sometimes, but it was when the game first came out, but since then it's been nerfed multiple times. While it still is a top contender, it's by no means the best weapon. The Uzi, the Val, the AMAX will almost always outgun it. But with this class setup, I am able to have good mid-range, sometimes long-range gunfights, and close range. It's almost always gonna beam people, especially if you're accurate for the day. The class setup that I like to run on my MP5 is the compensator, Ranger foregrip, 10mm round magazine, collapsible stock, and the sleight of hand perk. You will definitely go ahead and tear people up with that gun as well. You definitely won't have problems with this loadout. Now shifting our focus to the number 3 spot, we have the M4A1. Now just like the MP5, this gun is plagued among the community. People think that it's like the best gun in the game, but that's because when the game first came out, with the MP5 and the M4A1 were the best guns in the game. They were like the AS Val and the AMAX of the early Modern Warfare days. This gun though is very versatile. It has a lot of unique purposes to it. You can make it an SMG, you can make it into a long range AR. It's good in Warzone. For me personally, I like to run the M16 Grenadier stock, no stock, commando foregrip, 50 round mag, and the tack laser. Now if you want to be toxic, go ahead and drop the tack laser for the frangible disabling perk. If you want to run a bit more mobility with that, switch the Grenadier barrel with the Corvus custom marksman barrel. You're still going to be able to fry people. This is a very good gun to use. I wouldn't listen to anybody talking about it being overpowered. It's just a very well balanced gun that's it's going to help you win a lot more gunfights if you kit it out correctly. Now for the number 2 spot, I actually despise this weapon. You know, I didn't really hate it in the beginning, but now I absolutely hate it. It seems to be like the only gun people are running now besides the big 3, and it's the CX9. This thing is gross. It's a gross gun. It has a crazy fire rate, has a crazy ammo capacity with the 50 round mag. It's just a very annoying gun to go up against. And the attachments that I like to use on my CX9 is the suppressed barrel you're seeing here, the collapsible stock, 50 round magazine, commando foregrip, and tack laser. Before we get into number 1 spot, I do want to have an honorable mention given out to the AUG. The AUG is a very good AR/SMG. It's a very interesting weapon to use because the mobility is really slow, but it has some of the best time to kill out of all the SMGs if you can get past the mobility. The attachments that I like to run on mine are the 407 extended barrel, the Viper reflex sight, the 30 round magazine, stippled grip tape, and tack laser. Now I know this doesn't show tack laser, but I like to run that as well. It's a very decent weapon to use. Now moving on to the number one spot, the big daddy of them all. In my opinion, this can even rival the AMAX Val and the Uzi if you're on point. I'm telling you, this gun, it was slept on under the radar for a very long time, and that is the Ram 7. Now this is the class setup that I like to use. If you guys have watched my videos, you know I put in work with the Ram 7. I like to run the mono suppressor, tack laser, Viper reflex sight, commando foregrip, and 50 round mag. And please do not skip over the tack lasers when I put them in the class setup, because tack laser does more than just boost your ADS. It also boosts your aiming stability, which is a very big factor when it comes to like having sustained shot or recoil control when you're shooting people from long range. Something the Ram is very tricky with is recoil, because it has a flipped recoil pattern. The tack laser seems to really help it a lot, and you do not need a barrel for this weapon. You really don't. Run this class setup, I promise you, especially if you're on keyboard and mouse, you'll see how good it is. This is really one of my favorite guns to use besides the MP5. I'll always use this weapon because it'll just guarantee me like a very proper gameplay. You guys will definitely enjoy it. Trust me, use this class setup. Let me know in the comment section down below if you did and how you enjoyed it. You guys won't be let down. So now that I've reached this portion of the video, I'm gonna go over my settings. I'm gonna quickly glance over these and let you know exactly what I run. I'm on keyboard and mouse. I play on 800 DPI with 8.4 sensitivity. Everything here else is stock. I haven't changed it up. With relative 0.88 ADS sense multiplier. Now this wasn't done on purpose. I just slid it and this works for me. So this is what I run. Everything else here is default. I haven't changed anything. No custom sensitivity per zoom. Moving over to movement. This is how I like to set mine up. You can screenshot it if you'd like. And these are my bindings. I have very weird bindings. They're interesting. I use left shift to slide. I also play with my keyboard at a vertical position pressed against my chest. I like to prone with tab, and I also use caps lock to sprint, tack sprint, steady aim, but I also have auto tack sprint on. It's just kind of there as a habit. I press caps lock. Moving on to weapons and equipment, this is what I set mine to. And these are my bindings for my weapons and equipment. I have some really weird bindings here as well. Honestly, I use my button on the side of my mouse to swap weapons, and I also use it to melee, and I use my lethal by scrolling down, and I press on it to use my dead silence. Very interesting setup. It's just the way that I learned to play, and I don't think anyone else has this kind of bindings, to be honest with you. I don't use a macro or a tool or anything. I know people comment that, but I manually YY all my guns. These aren't really that relevant. They're just kind of scoreboard and stuff like that. You can do what you want with these. In terms of graphics though, I play 1440p at 165 hertz because of my monitor. I have a 3080 and I play on full screen borderless. And here are the stuff you can see. 1440p. I don't change anything like that, and I don't really I have NVIDIA low reflex low latency disabled, highlights disabled, brightness at 50%, and quality wise 120 FOV on affected. You want to do affected for lower visual recoil, least camera movement, and you can take a look at my settings for graphics wise. Almost everything is on low or disabled except like particles, because like it looks like shit when you're shooting a gun or something, and it like it has like those blurry looking square boxes. I kind of want it to look better, but if you take a look over here, almost everything's disabled. Anti-aliasing off is a very big one. It makes your game look a little sharper. It's gonna help you see things a little clearly. Distinguishing between objects and people will be a little easier with anti-aliasing off. DLSS I have off because I have a good GPU, but if you have a bad GPU, you can always turn this on to like balance the performance. This can help you get a few more frames while making the game look decent. And I have all these off and disabled as well. When it comes to audio, I'm gonna discard this because I didn't change anything. When it comes to audio, this is what I like to run. I like to run boost low at 88 master volume. You can see the rest for yourself. And when it comes to controller, I'm not really a controller player, but when I do, this is what I use. I play tactical flipped claw because I learned how to play claw as a kid. It was kind of something that I did naturally. I never like learned claw. I just how I naturally picked up a controller was in a claw fashion. Fun fact, I never knew that I did until my friend told me that I play claw. It was really weird. I had no idea that it was even a thing. It's just the way that I grabbed the controller. It always felt comfortable for me to use my middle finger to shoot with R1. So that's why I play tactical flipped here. And this is the rest of my bindings for controller if you guys are curious for that. I know a lot of you know I play keyboard and mouse, but yeah, here's the information for controller. But there you have it though, guys. Those are my class setups and my settings. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you did, consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel, sharing with someone who will enjoy it as well or learn something from it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take it easy. a high rate of fire. It has a high rate of fire and a large magazine capacity. It does have a higher. It does take a few more shots to kill, but paired with the motherfucker, it does. It does take a lot of shots to kill sometimes, but paired with the rate of fire and the amount of bullets that you have, you're actually able to beam people. It does take a little bit. It does shoot. Oh my god,